everyone, it's Kelly from Kelly's Bead Boutique. So, when I get in a creative rut, what do? I pull out some leather and I make some barrel knots. So today I'm going to show you how to take a little bit of leather, some freshwater pearls, some Ghana glass, and of course we got to use our barrel knots and create this beautiful beachy boho necklace. So come and join me and I'll show you how to make it. Alrighty, so to make my beachy boho necklace, I have some large hole pearls. So these have been drilled so they have a little bit of an extra large hole, which will accommodate this 2mm leather. I also have a couple pieces of the Ghana glass. And the nice thing about this Ghana glass is it's really rustic looking and really kind of, like it's not perfect at all, but that's what I really love. But this is actually made over in Ghana, and it helps provide women with jobs over there. So I like to buy their recycled glass. And we have this available in a few different colors. And this will be in a kit, and I will link that below. So I have two pieces of 2mm leather. One is approximately 40 inches, and the other one is approximately 24 inches. And they are 2mm in size. And then I also have, how many have I got here? 8 of our freshwater pearls, and then I have one of our tubes because I have to do barrel knots. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle of this. Now I don't know why I took 40 inches. That's just kind of what I took. I always like, I say often that I like to have a little more than a little less. I find it easier to work with. So I've found the middle of the longer piece, and I've taken the short piece and I'm just running it through there, and we're just going to fold it over there, and it doesn't have to be even because it doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to create a barrel. So I'm going to take my tube and I'm going to place it in between. Now this is the shorter one that I'm working with. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to pull my piece from behind and wrap it around, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. So I'm going to go towards my left hand. So once, twice, 3 times, and nice neat wraps. Bring that through the back of the tube, and it comes out the front, and now I can remove the tube, and I'm always holding on to that knot to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And now I'm going to start pushing that knot up. So I pull it up with the one that I wasn't working with, and then I'm going to tighten with the one that I was wrapping with there. And it doesn't really matter how tight this is. I want it sort of fairly snug up there, but I don't want to put any stress on this other piece of leather, so I'm not going to jam it right up next to it, but I do want it fairly close. So just keep adjusting and then pull that nice and tight. First thing I'm going to start with is one of my freshwater pearls, and I'm just going to load that on, and then I'm going to put one of my pieces of Ghana glass. And they do kind of have different shapes to them, so this is meant to be sort of an imperfect look. It's supposed to have that sort of boho look. So I'm going to place one on there, and then I'm going to place another one on. And even these pearls are not like a perfect kind of pearl. I just wanted to have something a bit more rustic looking. So I'm just placing these on so I can get an idea of where I kind of want to do my knots. And I think that might be kind of pretty like that. One a little bit longer than the other. I think that'll be good. So I'm now going to take my little tube, and I'm going to place it on my leather, and I'm going to wrap just once and twice. I don't want a great big huge knot down there. So you can make barrel knots with single pieces of leather or the double pieces. It's the same concept, it's just working with 1 instead of 2. So I'll pull that one down, and I've always got control of that knot so that it doesn't end up looking kind of funky on me. Okay, so we'll see where that ended up. Yeah, that's about perfect. And then I'll make another one about here. So I'll go around once and twice. And I often make things with 1.5mm leather, so this is a little bit heavier in the 2, but you can still make a nice knot. Now before I tighten this one up, I'm just going to see where it's going to land there. And that'll be about right. So I just push and pull until I get my knot where I want it, and that's how easy you can do something like that. So I'm going to try and pull that up just a bit. Yeah, perfect. So now I'll take a pair of scissors and I will trim that off. and trim that one off. And I would take a little tiny bit of super glue glue and put a little dot in the bottom of these knots. I just don't want to do it while I'm on camera because then it makes it a little hard to work with. So just put a little tiny dot of super glue or GS Hypo, just something like that that's going to add a little bit of extra strength to your knots. You don't really need them for strength per se, but you might want them just to kind of hold, to make sure the knot's not going to go anywhere. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to make sure that that I've got it in half there. And there we go, just find the halfway mark. And I'm now going to place on one of my pearls. I'm just going to place that on there and I'm going to create a little barrel knot, and I'm only going to do 2 in between. So go once, twice, take that, put it in the back end, and then tighten that up. And I've got a lot of leather here to work with, so it's fine if this kind of moves around just a little bit. Now I could create another barrel knot there, but I think what I'm going to do is just turn it over and do one, and that'll lock that in there. I just didn't want a whole lot of barrel knots happening there, so I think that'll look a little nicer just to create them on either side there. So go once, twice, always working towards my non-dominant hand. Pull it through, and you see I'm always holding on to it. Even though I make a million of these things, I think you really just need to hold on to it to make sure it's in the right place. Now, when it's up here, you want to make sure that you're pushing it down with your thumbnail. So just keep pushing it until I get it where I want it, and then I tighten it up. So it's just a little bit of wiggling back and forth. Okay, so let's continue on with that. So that's what we've got happening here. And I'm kind of loving this look. Quite often when I do these videos, I will already have made a couple in advance so that I know how they turn out. But sometimes I just wing it and just try things even on camera. So this is kind of an experiment to see if this will work. I've never made one before. I just kind of thought, well, I've got a lot of large hole pearls. Let's see what I can create with it. So I love to design, as I call it, on the fly. So you'll see me do that in videos where I will actually, I think on one of my last ones, my button earring one, I was kind of, you know, just coming up with things as I go along. I'm very busy. I don't always have time to sit and create things over and over again to perfect it. So sometimes I'll just try and perfect it on camera here. And I get pretty lucky. So, so if you hear me going, well, let's try this, it's because I haven't done it before. And I think that's kind of a fun way to do it. I don't always like to be super polished. Okay, so you can see this is coming together very quickly. So I'm going to try a different ending that I've never done before. So let's see how this will work. And I think this is a really cute sort of beachy vibe sort of thing, but you could wear it any time of the year. You could just use pearls. You don't have to use the Ghana glass. I just happen to really like it. So, so this is what we've got happening so far. So just a nice little easy breezy kind of necklace. The first thing I'm going to do is make like a little barrel knot. So I'm just going to sort of fold it in half, and I'm going to be working with my short one here. And I'm going to go once, twice, 3 times, and I don't have a lot to work with, so I'm going to carefully put that in the end and then sort of feed it through. So even if you only have a little piece there, you can still do that quite nicely. So I want to make my little loop up here big enough to accommodate a pearl, so I'm going to pull this down with the one that I wasn't wrapping with, and then so I just want to make this one a little bit smaller. So I'm not going to tighten that up all the way because I want to try the other side first, and I have to even them out and everything. So I do need one more pearl. So what I'm going to do is find my point there where I'm going to make that first knot. So that'll be about there. So I'm just going to go once, twice, because I just want little knots to hold the pearl in. So you see I often use my thumb on the other side, and that just helps the knot stay where I want it to. Now I'm going to place my other pearl on, and I'm going to wrap once, twice, put it through the back end, and I'm going to pull that nice and snug right next to that pearl. So now I'm going to trim this off fairly close. And after the video is over, I will take some GS Hypo or some super new glue and pop it there, because this is the point that's going to take the most sort of abuse as you're doing things up. So I definitely would put some glue there. I just don't like to do it on camera again, because then that will make a bit of a mess. So I want to make sure that this is going to fit through the end here, and that's about perfect. I don't want it really loose, but I want to have it so that, you know, you have to work at it a little bit. So now I know this is going to work here. So I'm going to tighten that up nice and snug there. And just make sure it is where I want it to be. Give that another little pull. And then I'm going to trim that off. And again, on this end here, I will take a little bit of glue and I'll pop some right inside there. And I'll even go on this side just to make sure that it's all nice and snug. So there we go. There's our little sort of a little clasp. So it'll get sort of stretched out a little bit, but you can see that when you put that on, that also provides a little bit of a resistance there, so it won't fall off you. So there we go. We have our Beachy boho necklace. Didn't take very long to create it all. Done with the super simple barrel knots, which, you know, I always love. So I hope you try this one. I'll have it in kit form, probably in a couple different colors. Make sure if you enjoyed this video that you give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and please leave me a comment. I love to hear you know, comments from everybody and to see what you're up to. I get lots and lots of really great positive comments, so keep them coming. I really love to hear from everybody. Let me know which color combination you would like. Would you like to see some green, or would you like blue? And thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it.